All right, the 2025 sleeper switch. Are we switching it on? We're turning it off for all these names? Let's find out. Parker Meadows continues to hit 3 for 5 with his 9th home run in 43 games since returning from the IL. He's batting .291 with 6 home runs, 5 steals, and OPS over 800. What do we think? Parker Meadows, the sleeper switch.
I am flipping that switch up.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the terminology we want to use, but that's what I'm debuting here for this segment. And the biggest reason is that since returning from the minors in those 43 games, just a 20% strikeout rate.
Mm-hmm.
If Parker Meadows is going to do that, then I think the speed alone is reason to target him in 5 outfielder leagues, and he certainly put himself in position to have a job next year, which was always a question for him too. So yeah, I'm calling Meadows a sleeper.
Okay. What about DJ Hers, who turned in another solid start up against Kansas City? 5 innings, 1 run with 3 strikeouts. And he was coming off a rough start, 7 earned runs, but he has allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 10 of 12 starts since being recalled on July 23rd. It kind of feels like there are enough pieces here. He gets a lot of whiffs on his fastball. The changeup and slider look like pretty good pitches as well. What do we think? DJ Hers, sleeper switch, on or off?
So I have a pretty chaotic writing style, and the way I organize my writing is I have a Google Doc that just is called random. And I have 4 unfinished columns from the various parts of the year and various ideas. And I have sleepers, breakouts, and busts, and I'm adding players to that. And I already have DJ Hers on my sleepers list for what I'm going to write within the next couple of weeks. So, yes, the switch is on. DJ Hers, sleeper. I like him.
I think the only way he's going to be a sleeper for me is if everybody's legitimately sleeping on him. If there's a lot of enthusiasm for DJ Hers, I think I'm going to fade him because I don't think the upside is enough to make up for the downside if you're giving up something worthwhile for him. If the opportunity cost is anything really.
Yeah, I'm betting he's not like a top 175 pick.
No. I could see.
But I'm not even sure I'd want him as a top 225 pick.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I think I would, man. 3.32 xERA, 29% strikeout rate. There are some legitimate skills here. It's probably too fastball heavy. Like, I think he needs the changeup or slider to take a step forward. The fastball is carrying a lot of weight, although the curveball has flashed. He doesn't throw it very often, but there are some interesting signs there. But I think I'm willing to draft him in a head-to-head points league next year. I would say that.
And I feel like the 200 to 250 range is often where we find a lot of quote unquote sleeper pitchers and sleepers just in general, but obviously a lot of sleeper pitchers usually live in that range. Who do you think you'll be more excited about, him or Bowden Francis?
Oh, I think Bowden Francis is going to go a lot earlier.
Yeah. I guess I would have to be more excited about Francis because there's a little more proof of concept, but it's so hard to understand exactly how he enjoyed his success that I don't know. I might think that Hers' skill set is a little stronger.
Okay. Alejandro Kirk has hit better in the second half. He's batting .270 with 3 home runs, 30 RBI, a .725 OPS, still just a .397 slug during that time. What do we think? Alejandro Kirk, the sleeper switch.
Well, I ranked him as my 20th catcher for next year. So in 2 catcher leagues, I think he needs to be drafted. Does that make him a sleeper? So you gave the second half numbers in 46 games since taking over as the Blue Jays starting catcher because they traded Danny Jansen. He's hit .290, which he's going to need to hit for average with his profile to be worthwhile. Only 3 home runs in those 46 games. The OPS is around 750. keeps the strikeout rate low. It's just, is he better than like Keber Ruiz? Is Alejandro Kirk basically just another Keber Ruiz who might not play as often? That would be that would give him little chance of being better than the 20th catcher.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a chance they just DFA him, right? Like that's
No.
unlikely. He's second year arbitration eligible. He's probably going to make like $4 million.
Do they have another direction they can go at catcher?
That they have a prospect, right?
I think just for the defense, they'd keep him around for $4 million.
Okay.
And consider anything he provides offensively to be gravy. Like he should have been their starting catcher all along because he's better defender than Danny Jansen by a pretty significant margin.
I don't see a catcher in their top 30, at least according to MLB.
I thought they had one. Maybe not. Okay.
You're probably thinking of Moises Ballesteros, who literally looks like Alejandro Kirk.
Maybe that actually might be what I'm thinking, because these Cubs wear blue as well. That might be what I was thinking of.
Yeah. What about Edward Cabrera, Chris? Can we talk ourselves into
No.
it again for another
No.
season? No? Should we just move on?
No.
I mean, 3 of his last 4 starts were good.
I know, like the last 11 starts, he has a 3.57 ERA. It's still a mediocre 121 WHIP. That's not terrible, but it's not great. It's still a 4 walks per 9. It's still mediocre, like less than a strikeout per inning.
He has to throw strikes, and we just
It might happen.
Do that.
It might happen, but I think Cabrera is 100% in a he has to prove it range, and this is not enough to have proved it. There are enough interesting pitchers in the later rounds that I do not think I will be shopping at the Edward Cabrera store this year.
I think the upside case and the downside case for Edward Cabrera isn't that far off from DJ Hers. So I think it's more likely people will be sleeping, like legitimately sleeping on Cabrera. I'm not going to draft him in like a 12-team head-to-head league.
Yeah.
We're not going to go deep enough into the draft, but in something deeper as a late-round flyer, I'm not totally writing off Edward Cabrera.
I will just say there were a lot of 15-team leagues where I was the only person with any interest in drafting Edward Cabrera this year, and then he stunk this year. So
Yeah.
I'd be surprised even in 15-team leagues if he got drafted.
Yeah, that's fair. But that makes him even more of a sleeper.
It's a real deep sleeper.
Deep sleeper. I've got a few of those coming up as well. Luis Ortiz of the Pirates, 7 innings, 1 run, 5 strikeouts, and he has a quality start in 4 of his last 6 outings. During that stretch, a 2.60 ERA and a 1.04 WHIP. Anything here? Sleeper switch.
I
Luis
don't
Ortiz.
see it.
I honestly don't see anything here.
Yeah.
I mean, he finishes the year with a 3.32 ERA and 1.11 WHIP. So that's not even like that's what you want your sleepers to do.
Yeah.
But I just don't see how he did that or how he'll continue to do that.
Yeah. Below average strikeout skills, not really great on quality of contact, pretty average. It all adds up to a totally uninteresting pitcher to me.
And then 2 deep sleepers. We're talking, this is like the best REM sleep you've ever got in your life. Jonathan Clase, 3 for 3 with his first career home run here on Wednesday. He now plays for the Blue Jays. He came over at the trade deadline. He had 38 steals in the minors this year. He had 79 steals in the minors last year. The Blue Jays kind of feel like they're in a transition period. He might have an opportunity to play next year. I don't know. Jonathan Clase?
He wasn't good at AAA for them. And I don't think there's enough in the batting profile, like bad plate discipline, poor exit velocities. Okay, he can run fast. We're talking reserve rounds of an AL draft, I think, for Jonathan Clase.
I think it would only be like, you mentioned earlier, Dalton Varsho is expected to be close to full activity for spring training. I think it would have to be a Tommy Edmonds situation where we get to spring training, he's just not cleared at all to even start to consider it. But I could start to consider it if that was the case.
Mm-hmm. And the last name on this list, Jacob Junis, who pitched well again, 5 innings, 2 runs, 3 strikeouts, and last 4 starts with the Reds. It is a 1.71 ERA, a .57 WHIP. He's bounced around the past couple of years. I don't even know if he gets the chance to start or where he'll be, but he's pitched well here. Overall this season, I mean, a 2.69 ERA and a .85 WHIP.
I think Jacob Junis is the. Hold on, let me get there. Who's the other? Forget it. He's a poor man's Nick Martinez at best. I think it's
I haven't called Jacob Junis a sleeper since like 2017, so that's not about to change.